Hey guys, welcome to RAMtv on the road for the next 4 weeks. Because we're on the road though, it means it's quiet, which means we can jump right in. We now have more information on Destiny 2 after some people finally got the opportunity to play Bungie's newest upcoming game. There was a cyber attack that left many people wanting to cry, and we'll take a look at Disneyland's newest attraction. You're watching RAMtv. 1 second, sorry guys. Hello?
Aaron, where the hell are you?
I'm on the road, Zach.
Uh-huh. Well, that would have been nice to know.
I told you.
When?
The other night, over dinner, when I made you filet mignon that you didn't eat.
Okay, well, I don't have a face, or a mouth, or hands that can use, like, a fork or a knife, you know.
And not having a face didn't stop you from crying all over my food.
Have you ever tried being omnipresent? It's pretty hard. There is a lot of pressure.
Wait, if you don't have a mouth, how do you talk?
Shut up, that's how. Go intro your show.
Let's rerun the intro. After a first look and playthrough, we finally are getting some of the answers we have been seeking for Destiny 2, including an interesting partnership with Bungie. Tanner has more.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, Bungie and Activision, an unlikely pair to begin with, are adding a third to their duo. They're adding Blizzard Entertainment. Now, Blizzard's adding something that's not really seen in this world out here. They're taking Destiny 2 and they're adding it to a platform that you really wouldn't consider this game for. They're taking it to the PC. Now, what I think personally, I mean, this is just my own opinion here, that Blizzard is actually adding more story to the game as well. Because the old game, yes, it was made by Bungie and Activision, it didn't really have a storyline. It had some missions, you had multiplayer and everything like that. It felt a lot like Halo and Call of Duty mixed together, which is understandable because it was made by Activision and Bungie. But with the addition of Blizzard Entertainment, everybody's saying that with the new one, it looks like there's more of a storyline. There's more cutscenes and everything like that. And we all know that Blizzard loves their cutscenes, loves their story, loves their lore, everything like that. So I'm really excited to see this game come out. They've also changed up the classes and the subclasses. They've changed up the weapon system. They've changed up pretty much everything in the game except for what we love. The 3 classes, you still have the Hunter, the Warlock, and the Titan. Their subclasses have changed. Their supers have changed. Their supers look a lot cooler now. Like the Solar Warlock can fly now and wield a big fiery sword. The Titan subclass can make a Captain America-like shield that he can fling at people. He also makes a little mini shield that he can hide behind as well. Not a big bubble, but it's a little like wall that he can set up. It's really cool. And then, of course, the Hunter can pull out this real electric staff and run around and smack people with a big staff. It's kind of like the Stormbringer Warlock in the first game, but it's a staff instead of you flying around and shocking people. Now, this game is looking really, really cool, and of course, you can get early access to the beta if you pre-order, which I think I'm going to do. With this game, I'm really excited to see what they do for the PC, because the PS4, the Xbox, it was a really good addition, but I'm thinking the PC will add a little extra oomph to those gamers that love the PC Master Race.
Tanner? Okay, that was abrupt. We're on the road, right? Thanks, Tanner. If you're excited to get your hands on some Destiny 2, well, we've left some links below for you where you can go and pre-order from Amazon. Of course, pre-ordering gets you early access to the beta. Destiny 2 comes out September 8th. And we may actually have more to look forward to in the future from the past. Okay, let me explain. I'll admit, other than my mother's Atari, the Sega Genesis was my first console. My cousins had the Nintendo, so I always played both, but the Sega was mine. And now those of us who remember some of those old IPs from Sega, you know, the ones that aren't being used, well, we may get to see them once more. Following Sega's earning reports from this fiscal year, Sega Sammy shared its road to 2020, which includes the company's plan to utilize and expand their catalogs of IPs to create more global hits. The publisher plans on organizing studios created around some of their current IPs, such as Phantasy Star, Persona, and of course, Sonic. And that's just to name a few of them. But what I'm most excited about is their comment that they plan on reviving some major IPs. Oh, please bring back Toe Jam and Earl. Anyways, Sega has not gone into detail on which of the IPs, but I'm sure we'll be getting some of those very soon. I mean, let's face it, something like this isn't going to go unnoticed, and many people are going to be excited, right, Mike? Now, as for now, while I said we don't know what titles we have to look forward to, we do know some of them that are coming up. Some of the new Sonic games Mike keeps yammering on about, Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces, both of which come out this year. And I say, if people get on top of it, since there was a Kickstarter campaign which proves we want it, maybe, just maybe, we could see a Shenmue 3 come out in the next year. Anyways, I'm curious though, what IPs do you want to see? Let us know in those comments below. Now, let's reel back to the real world and talk about some scary shit. An attack so widespread, IT specialists could have cried seeing it made headlines not too long ago. Ray tells us why this attack was so stressful and the damages it could cause us. Ray?
We need to talk about Wannacry. So, by the time you're seeing this, around a week ago, Wannacry attacked 150 countries, started in England with the NHS system in, of course, England, where 16 hospitals had to be shut down. A car manufacturer in France had to be slowed down because of the attack. Attacked Russia. And what was Wannacry? Pretty much it was a ransomware attack. If you don't know what ransomware is, it's pretty much a hacker encrypts all of your files on your computer, and in order for you to get those files back, you need to pay a certain amount that is shown on screen. In this case, the Wannacry asked individuals, institutions to pay $300, I believe, per computer in order to unencrypt those files and get those files back. Now, holding files hostage is pretty much a very, very common way hackers use to get money out of people. Now, to present day, people are blaming Microsoft for Wannacry's rapid expansion because Microsoft has not updated Windows XP, which a lot of the computers that were affected ran Windows XP. They have not updated Windows XP for almost 3 years. The thing is, they have stopped supporting Windows XP for years. Windows XP came out in 2001, and the official last update patch was in 2014. They did release a patch for the attack Microsoft did pretty much recently. So if you have Windows XP, download it. But I think Microsoft should not be to blame really for this attack. It is the fault of the institutions that have not updated their tech infrastructure in these years, and they've had a number of years of warnings from Microsoft. From pretty much, if you read any tech article, we have known Windows XP is not supported anymore. Why are you still running it on your computers, in your business, in your hospital? Why? Now, I understand, funds. I understand that there are processes that are for that institution, like keeping medical records private and confidential, online, for banks, where they had to make sure their processes for payments are not affected by a new OS or new patch. I understand that. However, 2017 minus 2001 equals what? 16 years? 16 years that you have had the chance to update your infrastructure. I don't want to hear it. I think really it's their fault. I do feel bad that, this had to happen. Now, this has to be a learning lesson for everyone, really. If you want your computer to have less chance of being attacked by a hacker, you have to update your OS and update those patches and those updates to your firmware for whatever you have to possibly avoid a hack. I'm sorry. I know people complain that it takes an hour and a half. I want to do something on a laptop. Why do you have to do it? Well, if you get attacked and your files get encrypted and you have to pay to get them back, I don't feel sorry for you because it is your fault. An hour and a half out of anyone's day is pretty much, 1/8 of your sleeping time. Okay, I'm sorry. Wannacry, of course, it was slowed down by a Twitter user by the name of Malware Check. He was able to register a domain that the attack used to affect all of these computers, but he did say that another attack may be coming soon and that this version will go over his fix, and from that point on, we don't know what we'll do. Now, Wannacry apparently used the same exploit that the NSA used to break Windows security, but that is a whole different discussion if you want to talk about Edward Snowden and what he did for this country, in my opinion. Wannacry happened, and you need to update your laptops and your desktops. No question about it. If you don't, you're just being stupid. I am Ray Bolanos. I'll talk to you later, Aaron. Bye.
Thanks, Ray. And of course, remember, if you want to protect yourself and keep away those tiers, it is important to update your computer whenever updates are available. Coming up on RAMtv, Blizzard tries to bring in the dough in Diablo 3, and a new attraction at Disney has left people feeling like Guardians. You're watching RAMtv. Welcome back to RAMtv. In an effort to pump new blood into Diablo 3, Blizzard is launching the Necromancer class as a paid DLC, and it's currently in the beta. Zach explains what exactly it takes to get your hands on the character and what it will cost. Zach.
On November 4th, Blizzard announced they were adding a paid DLC character pack for the Necromancer in Diablo 3. Initially, like most things dealing with Diablo 3 these days, reactions were one way or the other, either rabid excitement or deflated disappointment. Diablo 3 hasn't resonated as strongly with the fan base as Diablo 2, to put it lightly, and there are some who feel like the sooner it's scrapped and Diablo 4 is created, the better. Others are excited to see a class they wanted playable at release joining the fray with classic fan-favorite skills and a few new toys to boot. Speaking as someone who was equally rabid for a paladin class in Diablo 3, was heartbroken when I saw the monk, and then received the news of the Crusader being added to Reaper of Souls. I understand this sentiment way too well. I was lucky enough to be invited to the Necromancer beta test, and while I wasn't blessed with enough time to reach max level and show off all the new sets they added, I wanted to whet your appetite with a few builds. Firstly, here's some basics to the class. The Necromancer's resource is Essence, and its pretty straightforward system of attacking generates Essence, you spend Essence, and it doesn't passively drain. You've got Essence Builders, Essence Spenders, pretty standard fare here. You'll also notice that when enemies die, whether it's a tree, a swarm of mosquitoes, or a shadow, they leave behind these bloody flesh lumps called corpses. Corpses are a secondary resource for the Necromancer, fueling skills like Corpse Explosion, Devour, Revive, and some more. Now, my favorite way to play the Necromancer in Diablo 2 was to obnoxiously fill the screen as much as possible with undead minions. I still remember the glory days of old Diablo 2, where 61 minion army was possible. It didn't do much for the other players' connections, but who cares about them? And it made the Maggot Lair interesting. And at that time, minions weren't very strong. None of that matters. Giant, undead, army. So, the first build I'm showing you is your classic minion build, and you'll notice some changes. Firstly, summoning skeletons is a passive skill you can equip. It will passively raise skeletons from the ground to a total of 7, and activating the skill converges them to gang up on an enemy. Revive is also back, allowing you to expend enemy corpses to revive copies of these monsters to fight for you. Revive is capped at 10 and is timed, which is really lame in my opinion. I'm sure this has to do with how fast Blizzard sees the action in Diablo 3, but the fact remains, I hate seeing my summons disappear after a few seconds. Luckily, Revive doesn't cost any essence. However, skeletal mages do, and they last even shorter. You also see me here summoning skeletal archers. That's a rune for the mages. And you'll also notice I have a golem. In this case, a flesh golem. He's pretty beefy, and he has an activatable ability where he jumps on the ground and leaves behind a pile of corpses, which can be used immediately for big corpse explosion, or, my favorite, summoning a revived army of little golems. And if those weren't enough undead for you, Army of the Dead literally summons an enormous swarm of undead minions to bum rush a central point and crush anything unfortunate enough to be there. The minions don't do a huge amount of damage individually, but added up, they really get the job done. And more importantly, they distract enemies from you. Also, not certain if you can see it too well, but my generator here is a ranged attack that summons bone spikes out of the ground, affectionately called bone spikes. There's no range limit on it, so you're pretty safe using it. Also worth noting, the tooltip for the rune I equipped for bone spikes mentions it will occasionally stun enemies. Apparently, occasionally is Blizzard speak for damn near every single time. But what if minions aren't your thing? Well, you can turn your Necromancer into an unholy melee monster. Here, bone armor literally rips the flesh out of enemies and straps it to you, reducing damage taken by each enemy absorbed, up to 10. Subsequent casts on even a single enemy will refresh the duration of a 10-stack bone armor. Combine that with Devour, which consume the corpses around me, refilling my essence and increasing my maximum health with each stack, up to 25. Leech, a curse, yes, curses are back, saps HP from monsters as I hit them, and my essence spender, Death Nova, is ruined into Tendril Nova, which hits all the enemies around me and steals health. My essence generator is a large AoE scythe attack. In this build, you're more of an undead juggernaut than you are a minion commander. You're doing large, up-close melee damage, or melee range damage with some magic based, and you're also healing yourself constantly. Still, what if you want to be more of a caster type? Well, you get that too. Here, I'm using Bone Spirit and Bone Spear as my main range damage dealers. Old Necromancer fans will certainly remember those. You'll also notice my essence generator literally drains the blood from my enemies, healing me steadily. Decrepify slows enemies and keeps them at bay. The enemies that get past my giant ice golem, that is. I still have Devour here because Bone Spirit has 3 charges that cool down rapidly, and Devour shaves seconds off that cooldown per corpse eaten. You'll also notice items exclusive to the Necromancer class: one-handed scythes, offhand phylacteries, and two-handed scythes. In this beta, very few new models were available for weapons and armor, and the smith didn't have many recipes for better versions of these unique weapons, so I didn't get to use them much. I don't know. I want to be cynical and say 5 years is too long for Diablo 3 in its current existence to wait to release something like a singular character pack. However, being fully honest with you, I had a lot of fun with this beta, and I'm not even max level, so I haven't unlocked every skill or rune to try out. Maybe this is just what the game needs. Maybe it's a desperate money grab. Likely, it's both. But the verdict is that it's fun, and if you've been waiting for the Necromancer since Diablo 3 was announced, I think you'll be really happy with him.
Thanks, Zach. Now, there is no official launch date on the character yet, but we have an estimated late 2017. Whatever the hell that means. There's new Guardians in the old Hollywood Tower in Disneyland Resort. Mike explains what you can expect at the exciting new Marvel attraction at Disney.
Thanks, Aaron. And before I begin today, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you who wished me wonderful wishes. I am feeling a lot better. The surgery went very well. As you can see, I'm up and about. Not quite 100% yet, but these things take time. But again, I just want to thank you all so much. You all mean a lot to me. And now, on with today's story. So, Disney is doing a lot of wonderful things, and to keep it in tune with what we got going on here on RAMtv, I'm bringing in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, they announced last year that they were closing down the Tower of Terror in Disney's California Adventure to put in a Guardians of the Galaxy attraction. To be honest with you, I was a little miffed. I love the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. I love DCA. It's where I worked when I worked at Disneyland years ago. So, kind of upset that they were going to take down this attraction from my childhood and put in Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, we now have some information as well as a teaser trailer for the new attraction, and of course this all came out just last week. People got a sneak peek of what the attraction is going to look like when it opens in about a week. Now, the story of course takes place in this Fortress of the Collector, and he of course has been collecting all sorts of different items and artifacts from all over the universe and putting them in this very weird fortress slash museum, which you are going to be able to experience when you go into this attraction. And his latest capture is the Guardians of the Galaxy themselves, with the exception of Rocket Raccoon. And Rocket is pleading with you, well, not necessarily pleading, but ordering you to help basically save the rest of the Guardians and defeat the Collector. Now, this attraction, of course, according to Joe Rohde, who is heading up the attraction, fun fact, he also headed up the Pandora attraction and experience over in Disney's California Adventure. So this dude is doing an amazing job. Basically, it's going to be, they've worked with everybody on this attraction. Everyone from the film, the director, the producer, the artistic, Stan Lee himself even took a look at this film and look at this attraction and gave it all big thumbs up. Now, another unique part about it, it is still going to have the same ride mechanics as the Twilight Zone. You are going to be pretty much in an elevator type experience. But the cool thing is it's going to be different every single time you ride it. Every time you go, you save a different Guardian, which brings a lot of variety to the attraction, very much like Star Tours does with the different experiences every time that you ride it. Not only that, but music, which plays a huge part in the original film, is also going to play a big part in this attraction as well. Every time you ride it, the soundtrack changes. Anything from the Jackson 5 to Pat Benatar to Elvis Presley, It's going to be incredible what they've done. Now, the attraction is not quite up and running yet. It did have a sneak peek with the press review, and a lot of people have given it a lot of praise so far. Am I going to go and ride it when I go visit Disneyland next? I'll give it a shot. I mean, me personally, I'm a Marvel fan. I never got into the Guardians of the Galaxy as much as other people did around me, but hey, it's worth at least a shot, right? And plus, it's always good to return to the former Hollywood Hotel when you get a chance.
Thanks, Mike. This brand new attraction will open in just 1 week at Disneyland's Adventure Park. That's going to do it for this week's RAMtv. We appreciate you joining us, and as always, love having you all tune in. Also, special shout out, it is in fact my girlfriend Rachel's birthday, so woo! Celebrate! We want to let you guys know that we are working on making a brick and mortar studio so that we can focus on delivering the content you deserve. So, if you know anyone who wants to sponsor or advertise with us, send them our way. You know that pesky little commercial that always pops up in the middle of the show? Well, that could be theirs. It could be a loved one annoying you. We love you all. We can't wait to be back with you for more RAMtv on the road, as I said, which will be happening for the next 4 weeks. So, we will certainly be seeing you soon. Do you, Ram?
Hi, thanks for watching RAMtv. If you like what you see, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. We release new episodes every Saturday and new Tiny Ram videos every single day. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, GoFundMe, and Patreon. Also, please leave us your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again, and see you next time.